A detailed list of all supplies used can be found in the description box. I'm going to begin by measuring the length and width of the drawer. This is important to make sure that the base of the organizer is able to fit. I'm also getting the height of each side. I'm using a total of 2 foam boards. On the first foam board, I'm going to mark out the measurements for the bottom of the drawer. On the second, I'm going to mark off the measurements for the dividers. Those measurements I made sure to take off about 1/4 of an inch, just to leave enough room for the foam board to sit on top of the base. I then cut all the pieces out using my Xacto knife. Make sure that you're cutting on top of a board of some kind. I forgot the first time and I almost cut my table. I'm using some fabric that I got from Walmart for $1.97. The first thing that I do is I place the fabric over the foam board. Then I'm going to cut about 2 inches out from the foam board, so that way I leave enough space to wrap it around the board. To make the dividers, I'm going to wrap it in the fabric, and then I'm going to draw a line across the top, and then I'm going to use the side to draw a line down the side and just cut that piece out. I wrap the foam board in the fabric just to keep it organized. Then I take my spray adhesive. I'm going to be using this LocLite spray adhesive, and I put it on the foam board. Then I place the satin fabric on top of the foam board and smooth out all bubbles with my thumb. I do the same thing to the other side. Once I've gotten all my side pieces and my dividers covered, I'm going to spray my base. So what I do is spray it with the LocLite, and then I turn it over directly onto the fabric. I place it gently because I'm going to apply this like a decal. I gently lift up the fabric and then place it back down, lined up as much as possible, and then I take a piece of foam board to smooth out any air. Once I've got the fabric on the foam board securely on the front and back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to glue down each corner of the fabric to the foam board just to make sure that it stays down. For added style and to prevent fraying, I'm going to be using some fabric to line the sides of each of the pieces. First, I determine how far I want the fabric to come down on the piece, and then I'll measure it out and cut it out. Then I'll use that same piece of fabric to cut out subsequent pieces. This saves me time. To prevent fraying, what I'm going to do is take some hot glue and put it on the edge of the fabric. Then I'm going to fold the fabric up. This is what it looks like once I've finished. Next, I gather all of my pieces and I fold them in half. Then I iron them. I'm creating a crease to make them easier to attach. I make sure that I continuously line up the fabric so that the crease falls directly in the middle. I make sure that each side is directly on top of one another. I then spray the piece with spray adhesive. I then line up the crease and the side of the foam board with one another. I press it directly onto the foam board and then smooth down the sides. I continue to do this process for all remaining pieces. I put the bottom piece in first because that makes it a lot simpler, and then I pushed in the back side piece. After that, I put in the left and right side pieces, and then I put in all the dividers. My right piece actually was a little too big, so I cut off the excess with an Xacto knife, and then I just played around with smaller pieces. You can do a lot of different things. I came up with about 3 different options for organizing my drawer. The first was this one. This was the second one. I figured it would look nicer with one more divider, and ultimately I decided on this one. The 2 small pieces can fall down, so I decided to measure exactly where they were and then glue them onto the dividing pieces. This is just to make sure that nothing tips over. So what I did was I glued one side on and I just held it there for about 5 to 10 seconds. Then for the other side, I put the glue directly where I marked on the fabric. Even though I'm gluing these pieces together, the drawer still remains fully customizable. You can rearrange the drawer's layout as much as you like. This just ensures that these small dividers do not tip over when you have makeup or other items in the drawer. Once you've finished letting it dry, you can go ahead and put it back in the drawer. And from there, you can go ahead and customize it however you want to. You always can rearrange the layout of these. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure that you like it and share with all your friends. And let me know if you guys give this a try. Much love, guys. Remember to embrace you and be bold. To see how I transformed this vanity, make sure that you click to watch part 1. Make sure that you connect with me. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Aseamae Natural, on Facebook at facebook.com/Aseamae Natural, and at AseamaeNatural.com. Click the link to hear about the unfortunate events that busted my lip. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe.